Hello, welcome back for what you would expect, right? Another video for Oxygen Not Included. And this is gonna be a rather short one, but hopefully super interesting for people who like the game and who are striving to get more and more tips and be able to play better and better. I have played this game a lot, and I have learned a lot of things with my different playthroughs. Made a lot of mistakes, and I was always looking to find a simple and surefire way for me to create a base that will have very small problems and reach a point where it will eventually work out its issues on its own. And I think that playing and reading and watching videos and all that, I'm at a point where I actually know what I'm doing, and so since I had this issue with my with the way I was playing, oh, that's actually foundation, with the way I was actually playing the game initially, and I had trouble understanding some of the things. I kind of wanted to give you a quick tour guide on what you should be doing till you from cycle 1 till you reach a cycle 100 in order to have a base that's running just fine without any real issues. And this is what we're going to be talking about in this video, and I'm going to go through what I'm looking to achieve with everything that I do till cycle 100. So I'm sure that you know that it's super important to research things, and that's obviously something that you should be doing all the time. I'm pretty much done with my researches almost at that point, so you should aim to be researching, obviously, especially in the beginning of the game. And yeah, definitely, the standard stuff, beds, some food, and all that. Initially, and it's super important, and actually you see here that this looks bad, but it's actually just ventilation, so it's waiting for dirt, so it's nothing really. Our food is more than fine. Initially, you are relying on mealwood, and this is a little bit of a problem because after a while, dirt will run out of dirt, and mealwood pretty much requires dirt to be grown, and that can be a major problem. So initially, till probably cycle 150 or something, you're fine with mealwood, but then later on, you kind of need to go with the bristle blossoms and mushrooms, and get meat also from the ranch. There are various options which I'm probably going to be talking about in the next video, but the most important thing, at least in the very beginning, is securing your water and securing your oxygen, obviously. And this is what I want to be, where I really would want to focus on mainly in this video, because I know that this is the biggest trouble that people have with their games. And you see that my oxygen right now is just okay. That's because I got many more duplicates in the later cycles. I used to have around 10 actually, and I generally want to have like 10 to 12 till cycle 100. You can go a little bit more as long as you follow the things that I'm gonna talk to you about. And I'm also going to discuss power a little bit as well. So let's see here, and yeah, Thimble reads also for the exosuits later on. So I want to, so first things first. So discussing about oxygen, and oxygen, obviously after a while, initially you rely on algae, which you can find in organic here, and I do have quite some because I'm pretty much not using it at all. The only place where I actually use algae at the moment is this room here, when it's actually not full max pressure. And the reason I had this is because I wanted a little bit of oxygen around while my duplicants were working on this area. That's pretty much the only reason. And maybe later on I can provide oxygen to my exosuits if I decide to build them here. But oxygen, obviously you need an electrolyzer here, which is the thing that produces oxygen. And the thing about the electrolyzer, which is super important, and you kind of have to remember, is that it produces enough oxygen. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's 1,000 grams per second or something. That you can use to two gas pumps to gas that oxygen, to move that oxygen in your base. And this kind of setup I have actually shamelessly stolen from Cryptic Fox, which, as I mentioned in the previous videos, he's amazing. He really knows how to play this game, and I've learned a lot of things from him. If you haven't watched his videos, just subscribe. He's really good. But the thing that I wanted to add here is that in his setup, he's using one pump here and one pump here, and I have found that using two pumps is actually a little bit better, and I'll tell you why. So if we examine the ventilation overlay, you will see here that each one of the blocks gets almost its max, sometimes its max, which is 1,000 grams. And you can see that the gas pipe now is 900, 850, 900, and so on. If you use one pump and you don't combine here, you see that they combine. Look how well they combine here. If you just use one pump, then you'll only get 500 grams at max. So you're basically leaving oxygen behind. And I don't think you want to do that. I mean, I don't see a reason for that. So I always use two pumps. And I was able to, so when I had like 10 duplicants, my base was actually full of oxygen here. So right now it starts going down a little bit. As you see, I have insufficient, I'm almost full of space, insufficient oxygen generation as well. But as you see here, I'm going to open up this area as well, and I'm going to get my oxygen pretty much back. Let's empty some of the trash because I may need some of it. So I'm going to be building another room here, and I have things ready so that I can transfer my my oxygen, transfer more oxygen from this room to my base, and pretty much go back to being full full blue, full light blue in my oxygen. So that's one thing, and that's super important. And obviously, it's you need to have a way to get your water from, right? And this can be a little bit complicated, but I was using this steam gas initially from here. And remember that when the water is retrieved from the steam gas, it's like around the 990 Celsius or something, but when it goes to the electrolyzer, it comes out at 40. And you would still need to cool that 40 to something like 23 or 24. And that's why I have it. I have my electrolyzers here in the ice biome, and you will see that the way I do it here, there are multiple ways obviously, but I think that's the easiest one, is by having some radiant gas pipes, so that the pipes are actually getting the temperature of the ice biome, and then just having insulated gas pipes so that the temperature doesn't go back to to a higher temperature going through the the warm biomes, and it stays on the same amount of heat. And as you see here, we're at about 25, 26, which is just fine. I can make it even colder if I just take my radiant pipes a little bit over here, which eventually will have to happen since this gets hotter and hotter. And the same thing I'm doing here on the other ice biome, which I'm going to have a similar setup and get some water. Now, your steam geyser water is not going to be enough. So as you see here, I'm opening up a new area, and I'm trying to combine all the water here, which is going to be quite some. And I will be pumping it over here to my water sieve, and my foundation here is amazing. And after I do that, it will it will direct the water flow to my oxygen generation really. And that's it about oxygen and water. That's how I do it, and I think that's a good way to do it. And quickly talk also a little bit about the batteries here, the power transformers. Right now I just have coal. Later on I will will pump the natural gas. I think I have somewhere in my base. I just discovered recently. I think it's somewhere around here. Yeah, so I will pump that later. But the most important thing with power that you need to to remember is the power lines, and that you have to segregate areas. And as you see here, I have divided areas just using a transformer here. And the trick is about keeping each one of those to 1,000 watts or joules or whatever, joules I think. So and the way you do it is by by having your standard coal generators or whatever generators create your power for you, and then just piping that to your transformers here. And what the transformers will do is that they will make sure that um, uh, your wires will not overload, will not have a circuit overload, and will not break down because of too much power. And so the big one is where your big power comes in, the big boy's power over here, and it comes out as a as a max of 1,000 joules, which is safe, and you can use with your standard wire. You don't want to use the heavy watt wire that I'm using here, because it has a terrible decoration effect, and so you need to seclude that for specific areas. And later on, I will actually block this off completely. I will have my duplicants pass through this area instead, probably, or over here or something. But for now, they're not losing so much because there's not much movement around here anyway. So that's what I wanted to mention, and as I said, my next step would be to secure my food. I'm going to be making Bristol Blossom farms and all that. But as you see, my base is running very smoothly. You see 47 stress here, but it's just one person, really. So everybody's pretty much great. Yeah, stabilizing nicely. My temperature is a little bit high here, mainly because I had a volcano here. I think that was a little bit of a problem here. It emitted quite some heat. But overall, I'm fine. I mean, I don't have any worries. And I made a mistake here, and I didn't use radiant. I didn't use insulated pipes when I was pumping the water from the cooled steam vent, which you should be doing. And the area is overheated slightly, but I can fix that later. It's no big deal. It's not really affecting much at the moment, at least. So, and my farm is just fine. Later on, I will probably destroy that and make a Bristol Blossom farm or something like that. That's what I wanted to mention. Hopefully that will help you with your game. Later on, I will be making tutorials about specific things, just focusing on oxygen, focusing on water, focusing on farming, and all that jazz in different videos, so that I describe specific ideas and I have more time with them. For now, that was it. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching, and please remember to like the video and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.